Welcome to another episode of the 5 Minute Money Manager. Those who teach personal finance or give financial advice often try to get the people they are teaching or advising to distinguish between their needs and their wants. Similarly, when the topic of spending was discussed in my courses or workshops, I would give my students a list of about 50 items and have them mark each item as a need or a want or not applicable, meaning they didn't consider the item to be a need or a want. I don't know if the exercise had a positive long-term impact on their spending behaviors. However, the discussions that followed this exercise revealed the values my students held. And on the occasions that I had couples taking the course or attending one of my workshops, it was interesting to watch them argue, often passionately, about whether an item such as season tickets was really a need. What I learned from these exercises was that one person's wants may be another person's needs, and over time, needs and wants can change. For example, when cell phone technology was first introduced to consumers, most people considered a cell phone a luxury, not a need. At that time, people generally had no idea of the impact that cell phones would have on all facets of their lives or how needed they would become. While it may be useful at times for individuals to label some things as wants and some as needs, it is my observation that we humans are not always very good at making the distinction. I've also concluded that once a person says, "I want," they establish a psychological meaning that is the same as saying, "I need." That is, our mind makes no real distinction between an "I want" and an "I need." Consequently, I will use both terms, wants and needs, interchangeably. If we treat all wants and needs as needs, a more useful distinction is identifying how important a need is relative to other needs. Is a need a very low priority, a very high priority, or somewhere in between? We are bombarded daily with hundreds, sometimes thousands, of advertising messages designed to convince us that a good or service is a need. Try this little exercise the next time you see or hear a commercial. After you have figured out exactly what is being sold, which is sometimes very hard to do, consciously ask yourself this question: do I need the good or service that was promoted? If you say, "No, I don't need this," then you have just made your life easier because you won't have to spend your time and money figuring out how and when to obtain the item. If you answer, "Yes, I need this," then ask yourself the following. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being very low priority and 10 being very high priority, how important is this item to me? If you rate an item at or near very high priority, you will then have to decide what resources are necessary, as well as what you will have to give up. That is, you will need to analyze all of the costs to obtain the item. You will have to decide if the item is worth the cost. If you decide the item is worth the cost, get the item. Or you may decide that the item is not as high of a priority as you first thought. It's okay to change your mind. As the old saying goes, it's your money. I encourage you to try this needs priority strategy on as many different advertisements as you can over the next couple of weeks. You will get very quick at running through the questions in your head and evaluating the priorities. At some point, it will become a habit that will make managing your money more efficient. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.